Hey there, everybody. Don Evans here from WatchReport.com, and I know it's been a little bit since the last upload, but some things have been going on. One of them being that the new MacBook that I got needed to be repaired because it broke within the first hour of getting it. So, long story short, some complications have been happening, but we're coming back to you with a nice new watch review here. This is the MeisterSinger Salthora Meta X. Of course, this is a jumping hour complication. Very unique. You don't see a lot of these, and that is what MeisterSinger is known for. German designed, Swiss made for this piece. Very cool. And of course, this has been reviewed before by countless other sites, but I want to give you my own unique perspective on this watch. And there's a good couple of things I want to talk about with this piece, but let's go ahead and jump into the full specifications. This is a $3,500 piece, and you are looking at a 43 millimeter case, 14.5 millimeters thick, a lug-to-lug of 51 millimeters, 20 millimeter lug width. It does have a sapphire crystal along with a ceramic bezel insert. The movement here is the Sellita SW200 automatic movement. It does hack even though it doesn't have our running seconds. And, well, I'll tell you what. It's a pretty cool watch. It comes in a pretty cool box. But there's a few things that I wish that they had done differently. So let's go ahead and discuss that. All right, before we get into the rest of this review, this is the part where I remind you, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, but also hit that notification bell. That way you'll never miss any of our uploads. But also, I want to talk to you about Instagram. Now, of course, I always tell you, hey, go over and give us a follow at Instagram. It is at Watch Report. But now they have their own notification bell feature as well. So if you go to our page and you look at the top, you'll see that little bell. And you could choose what you want to be notified for. So like the Instagram stories or just our regular posts, whatever. So if you haven't been seeing any Watch Report content lately on Instagram, it's really more about the algorithm than us not posting. So go ahead and hit that notification bell and put a smile back on your face. So let me go ahead and talk about this MeisterSinger Meta X. Now you've probably seen, if you're on YouTube and you're watching watch reviews, you've probably seen this watch reviewed already. But hey, this is now a Watch Report review. I'm going to give you the real deal on this watch. Now, it comes in a few different colors. This is, of course, the blue, unless you're colorblind, but I'm telling you it's blue anyway, so now you know. You even do have a skeletonized dial version. As I said, this one is running $3,500. It comes on this rubber strap. Now, there are also two other variations. They will change the price. There is a cognac leather strap version. This is the rubber and leather strap version combination, which I'll talk about here in a minute. And then I believe there is a Milanese bracelet version. There isn't a standard bracelet version of this watch, which I kind of found interesting. So right off the bat, it is the jumping hour complication. And if you're not familiar with jumping hours, it's very similar to how a regular watch works. It's just the fact that you don't have an hour hand. In place of an hour hand, you have that cutout dial there up, or that cutout up at the top at the 12 o'clock position there. That is going to be your hour. So of course, every hour you will see that change when you are running that minute hand around. No running second hand though. So if you're an accuracy nut, a jumping hour watch may not be for you. Now, specifically with this watch, and of course I'm going to show you on screen there how this watch actually works and the crown and everything there, but let's get into the meat of this watch, if you will. MeisterSinger, from what I could tell, makes a very nice and very solid quality watch. But there's a few things with this one when I'm looking at that $3,500 price point, and I'm like, there's some things I question. But let's go ahead. Let's start with the good. The good is you do have that ceramic bezel insert. The bezel action is very nice. There is just ever so much a little bit of play. But this isn't really a dive watch either. This is a sport watch, even though you do have that 200 meters of water resistance and that screw down crown as well. You're not looking to dive really or time anything with this. So you have that look of a dive watch, but I really wouldn't be using it for one, and nor is it really intended. But I do like the dial. That bezel is very nice. Now, if you want to take that bezel off, there are little screws around the bezel, as you see, very similar to how Breitling does with a few watches, as well as, I believe, Omega and a few other brands. I really, really, really like the crown on this watch. It's a large crown, large in diameter, but it's not sticking out really too far past the crown guards or digging into the back of your hand. Very easy to grip. This does hack, so you can stop the movement from running, though you don't have that running seconds. So it's a little weird, but it does do that. When it comes to the case, it's my absolute favorite of this favorite aspect of this watch. You have a very unique satin brushed and polished finish on this. You'll see you have a top and bottom high polished chamfer, but then you have this very, very fine satin horizontal brushing. I don't personally like a lot of high polish, as you know. This is a very innovative way, and it makes for a very, very attractive case, in my opinion. The dial, going back to the dial does use printed markers, except for, as you see, you'll see little applied markers there at the every 5-minute increments there. But the actual Arabic numerals there are applied, as well as everything else on the dial, including the logo, everything, the brand name. And I don't know, $3,500. What are you? Yes, you're getting that jumping hour complication, but we've seen jumping hour complications at less price than this, including, especially when they're using a Sellita SW200 movement. This is not in-house or anything. So I'm wondering why they didn't print more on the dial. Now, or excuse me, use more applied on the dial. Now, it could have been, an aesthetic reason. This is the look that they wanted to go for this watch. I'm not sure about that. It looks good, but it does look a little plain. When you move around to the case back, one thing I think you'll immediately notice is that the case back isn't centered. It's a very nicely done solid steel case back here. But why wouldn't this be centered and perfect for a watch that retails for $3,500? Another thing, the strap. Now, as I said, this strap is leather and rubber. I just don't like the combination, at least in the way this one was done. You have the leather on the back, the rubber on the front. You have the stitching showing through. It just doesn't look that great to me. The buckle on this, I'm not a fan of at all. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to say it. I don't like the buckle, period. It looks cheap. It's not very custom. It's high polished, which really doesn't match the overall look of the case. I would have liked something maybe more like a deployed buckle or something a little more custom. Also, the strap, it's a little on the short side. You'll see it on my 7.5-inch wrist. It just fits. If you have an 8-inch wrist, this strap is not going to fit you whatsoever. The Lume on this, I don't really watch a lot of other video reviews or read a lot of reviews, especially before I do my own videos here, because I want to go in with my thoughts in my head. But I did see another video, and they showed the Lume. You can manipulate cameras, and you can manipulate lighting and the settings and everything else. They showed the Lume to be phenomenal. Now, I think the Lume is good, but you're going to see here on screen that over 1 minute, I've sped it up, of course, here for the video, but over 1 minute here, you're going to see the Lume isn't all that, it's not super spectacular as another reviewer claimed it to be. I think it's good, not great. That's where I stand on that. Overall, with this watch, I really like a lot of aspects of it, as I've discussed here. And I think it's a very attractive piece, and it's a unique piece. It's something that you're going to put on your wrist that you're not really going to probably run into a lot of others wearing, and that's always a bonus, I think, in watch collecting and just us watch enthusiasts having something a little bit different. For me personally, this is not my preferred style of watch or my preferred way of telling time, but I do like it, and I think it is a cool piece. Now, I do have another MeisterSinger watch in for review. That one is the Astroscope. Very different style of watch compared to this one. This one is much more sporty. That one is much more elegant, has some cool and unique features. So look for that here on the channel as well soon. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody has a happy holidays despite everything that's going on in the world right now. And hey, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next one.